Driving Dreams, the podcast.
Driving Dreams ass d'Réck aus dem Wanderschlof. A fir die echte Edition vun der 3. Staffel ziedet den Andrea op Los Angeles bei dem Magnus Walker, Fashion-Designer an Autosammler. Bei vielen Experten zählt de Magnus Walker als de wichtigste Porsche-Sammler aus den USA. Anecht wie an engem klassischen Autosmusee gesi seg Sammelstecker awer net aus wie just aus der Fabrik heraus an 30 Joer no dugepackt. De Magnus seg Autoen Dir will liewen. An hier modifiziert ze so, dat ze sech wéi hien a künstlerisch Unikater verwandeln. Mir hunn de passionéierte Porsche-Sammler aus engem Musee, dé sech an enger aller Fabrik zu LA befindt, Dirfen treffen.
And thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on by. Let's rock and roll.
We're here in America now, in Hollywood. No, LA.
Downtown LA, yeah.
Downtown
Hollywood,
LA.
that way.
Yeah, you came here at what age?
19. 1986 when I was 19 years old, yeah.
Wow, so
Long time ago.
You are from Yorkshire, right?
From Sheffield, yeah.
From Sheffield,
England,
okay.
Yorkshire. South Yorkshire.
So I did read something great on Wikipedia.
Okay, all right.
You're one of the most important car collectors for Porsche, right?
I don't know about that. I never say that.
Okay, but I read it.
Just because you read it doesn't mean it is.
Great. So yeah, we're sat.
I collect Porsche, let's put it that way.
Okay, you got for you the 911 something special, right?
Well, not just the 911. You see, we're sat next to a 914, next to a 924, next to a 968. So to me, there's a myth about when people think of Porsche, they automatically go 911.
Yeah.
Yes, the 911 is awesome, but I'm all about variety. I'm about front engine, mid engine, rear engine, air and water cooled, not just 911.
What was your first Porsche?
My first one, I bought it in 1992 at the Pomona Swap Meet. It was a 1974 911 slant nose conversion that I paid $7,500 for. That was my first one.
Okay, and then it went fast, or?
Did that car go fast?
No, I mean, your first Porsche, then your second, then your third, or?
No, I mean, I've owned a lot. My first one I bought in 92. You know, I've owned, I don't know, 70 of them over the past 30 years. So I like to collect, I like to build, I like to drive, I like to restore. So
unfortunately, not everybody can be here inside, but it's just amazing. I mean, when you look at the cars, and I mean, you look like a car lover. You collect them. What is it? How do you treat them? Because I saw some things that when there's a stretch inside, or the car lives for you. Or...
Well, to me, the car was built to be driven. It's like the car I drove today, that 991 Turbo S. It's from 2014. It's a new one, yeah. 8 years old, 9 years old. Has 173,000 miles on it. So to me, the cars are built to be driven. I like to add my own customization to them, to modify them to suit my taste. But nothing is too precious that I'm really too concerned about it. So to me, the more smiles per mile, the more memorable moments, the more I'm connected to that car, whether it's a 911 or a 914.
What's your favorite road to drive? Is there something special?
Yeah, Angeles Crest Highway. I suggest you guys go drive it. You can be there in 20 minutes from here. It climbs to over 7,000 feet. You will probably find snow in less than an hour from where we're sat right now.
Okay. And which car, I mean, how do you choose your car in the morning?
Well, it depends where I'm going and how I want to get there. Like this morning, I drove the 2014 Turbo S. Last week, I drove my 77 930. You know, what's great about having variety in over 50 years of Porsche is it's almost as if you can step back in time to the period of the car, i.e. 1976 with my 930 Turbo, or 1973 here. So it all depends on the experience and how I want to sort of engage my senses as to which car I'm driving.
Okay, you look like a rock star. Do you play music?
I can strum a few chords, yeah, I can play guitar.
Okay, because there's a great guitars.
Yeah, a few guitars. Humans like to collect, whether it's guitars, watches, cars, art, sneakers, you know. Human nature, I believe, is to collect, and I'm no different to anyone else. You know, I like things that are aesthetically pleasing from a design point of view. Guitars and cars and watches and buildings and architecture and hats.
Yeah.
You know, they all sort of have their own style and character. So I'm attracted to things that engage my senses, whether it's, you know, I'm all about sensory overload, and that's what the car does. You know, it sounds good, feels good, tastes good, smells good, you know, looks good. So to me, I'm drawn to things that engage the senses.
And the smell of these cars is still amazing. I mean, when you put on a car, it's just like, I don't know, it's something special, or you like it, or you hate it. But on the other hand, it smells also a little bit like motorsport. You also into motorsport?
Yeah. I mean, I think what you're smelling is oil and gasoline and blood, sweat, and tears. That's one thing that new cars maybe don't have. They don't have that soul because, electric cars generally don't smell like internal combustion cars. So to me, it comes back to the sensory thing, like I just said. Smell is a big sense, sound's another big sense. But I don't necessarily equate sound with speed. Loud cars don't necessarily always go fast.
No.
So to me, it comes back to this emotional feel and how does a car actually engage your senses? How do you feel about it? How do you respond to it?
Have you ever driven a race, really, on a racetrack?
Yeah. From 2002 to 2007, I probably did 50 track days a year. If you go in my office, you can see a bunch of plaques from when I was racing 277 from 2002 to 2008. So that's, over the past 15, 20 years, I did a lot of track days. I enjoyed it at the time. And I'm all about enjoying all aspects of the motoring world, whether it's collecting, building, driving, racing, touring, meeting people. It's, the car world, it's a great equalizer that brings people together from different sort of social backgrounds for a common bond, love, and shared passion of the car, regardless of whether it's a Porsche or Sport Import Tuner or whatever it may be.
Yeah. We were talking about races. You are more from, well, you were born more on the European side, let's say like this. Is it more, do you like European motorsport or American motorsport? I saw on your Instagram you were now on a race or...
I like global motorsport. So to me, it doesn't matter whether it's NASCAR turning left, going around in a circle, or it's Formula One, or it's, the WEC IMSA series or Le Mans. I've gone to a lot of races in a lot of places all over the world. And yet again, it's like I just said, it brings people together. So I'm all about variety. I don't want to be pigeonholed in saying, European motorsports is better than US motorsports. We all have a need for speed, and it's just a matter of how you pick your poison and your drug of choice. So that's kind of how I am when it comes to motorsports.
You wake up early for European motorsports to watch them, or?
I mean, obviously, what do you mean by European motorsports? What do you
like Formula One?
Well, Formula One
is now American.
It's a global sport. There's 3 races in the US. There's one in Brazil. There's one in Mexico. I've gone to Mexico. I mean, with the internet, you can watch things whenever you want to watch them. So yes, I used to watch a lot of motorsports, Formula One live. I mean, the one thing with Formula One, I'm a big Hamilton fan. It's an interesting era. But people get excited if cars go through 3 turns side by side. F1 is not as exciting as F1 used to be. There's not really a lot of passing. It's more of a strategy thing. Yeah, it's that era has shifted. Like, people rag on NASCAR for going around in a left turn, right? But look how close they are for 500 miles with a lot of passing. You don't get that in Formula One. So, people, may rag on NASCAR for being, the only turn left. But how many times do you see people passing Formula One?
Not that often. Yeah, NASCAR is all the time, so.
Yeah. So, there's a lot going on this year. It's the 100th running of Le Mans, for example. So this is a milestone in motorsports. I've gone to Pikes Peak for the hill climb. I've done a lot of track days and club races myself. So, humans like to compete, right? And motorsports is a competitive team sport. So.
Pikes Peak is a good word because we had Walter Röhrl in our podcast, and he did amazing things over there.
Yeah.
It's just
Walter Röhrl, Ari Vatanen, these guys going up Pikes Peak, and this really is a time trial. It's not a race. You're not wheel to wheel at Pikes Peak, but this is a global event. It's like the 12 Hours of Bathurst or the Dakar, or all these off-road races like King of Hammers and the Mint 400 and the Bar 1000 and. There's just a lot of different varieties of motorsport, especially here in America. We talk about European sports, obviously F1 and IMSA and hill climbs, and, it's a global sport. I think people all over the world have a common interest and a need for speed. So there you have it.
Need for Speed is also a good word. You got your own character in the game, right?
Well, not my own character. I'm in the game.
Yeah.
So I play myself in the 2015 edition of Need for Speed, along with 277. I wouldn't say I'm a character. I'm myself in the game.
I mean, this is crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's old news. It happened 8 years ago. I don't really think about it too much. I use the term Need for Speed, but yeah, it ties into the game. But yeah, it was a great opportunity. It was something I was proud to be part of, for sure.
So you played already before? Or no?
No.
No. Okay. So more real driving. So you.
I mean, it comes back to sensory. You know, I mean, to me, the car's more than a vehicle that takes you from A to B. It can take you on this journey, this adventure. You know, so it covers all those aspects, and the video game world is just one of them. So, you know, simulator and video games, these are all part of tools in your toolbox of becoming a better driver.
Yeah, that's true. People know you here as, I mean, with your character, but you are a fashion designer, right?
Well, that's my background. I had this clothing company called Series. You know, it was just another way of expressing myself. This is one way of expressing myself.
Yeah.
Designing clothes that I like to wear was another way of expressing myself. Collaborating, like with Nike, for example, on a shoe inspired by one of my cars was an awesome experience. So
277, right?
277, the number of the car. Yeah, I'm all about doing cool shit with cool people, really.
Great. So having a great life in that way.
Well, you gotta live every day as if it's your last day, make the most out of every moment. This I know for sure. So, and that's what's great about being in LA. There's a lot of opportunity to do cool shit with cool people every day of the year.
What was your first thing that you did here in LA?
Well, I took a Greyhound bus from Detroit to LA, arrived at Union Station, which is less than 2 miles up the road, and then went to Venice Beach. That was the first thing I did in LA.
You still remember that moment?
Yeah, I just told you about it.
Yeah, but really like the feeling. Can you?
Yeah, I just went right back to it, I think.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, to me, I haven't come too far in 30 odd years. So yeah, you know, that's all part of it.
Okay. Now from LA to Luxembourg. Have you ever been to Luxembourg?
Never been to Luxembourg.
Okay, but Germany, you've been a lot in Germany.
Been a lot to Germany, yeah.
Right. Well, it's not that far away.
Yeah.
So when you're there, you can pass one
Yeah,
day.
I've been close.
It's a very, very small country, but a very, very cool country, I can say.
Well, that's good. How's the car scene in Luxembourg?
I think it used to be better.
What changed?
Well, a lot of electric cars.
Yeah.
You're now more into a lot of traffic from the morning till the evening. So, and it's very small. So the thing I love about America is this road trips.
Yeah, you've been doing a road trip.
Yeah,
You're doing all the California highlights.
exactly.
How are you liking that?
Amazing.
What do you like about it?
It's the nature.
Yeah.
I mean, people, when you look at the movies, you see a lot of cities and a lot of traffic and a lot of things going on. But you can be in America, you can stay on just a spot and just listen to the nature. And I think this is just amazing. And people are here great. They don't care about what people are thinking. And
It's a friendly place to be.
here,
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
Yeah.
Are you guys
absolutely.
thinking of moving?
Here?
Yeah,
I would, yeah.
you would.
But I mean, there are some things that makes it a little bit complicated, like I mean, not a visa, but a green card, right?
Hey, anything's possible, you know?
Yeah, but I would definitely. I love the people here. It's a very great place.
You know what's great about what you're doing? I think this road trip, you're getting inspired. I can tell, I can feel it, you know?
Yeah.
You're probably going to go back with a slightly different outlook.
Yeah,
This is why everyone should travel.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'm a musician, and I can imagine, I don't know, like Johnny Cash driving with his band
Yeah.
to the country, and
These things happen.
yeah, and I mean, this is just amazing. So.
What is the big band from Luxembourg?
The biggest band, I would say my band one last time. But
Yeah.
I think we got great bands like Eternal Tango, but
Okay.
I think you don't know them. But great rock music and more pop rock. Yeah,
Pop rock, all right.
yeah, yeah,
You got to check out Luxembourg.
yeah. What about your favorite band?
Well, growing up as a kid, it was all heavy rock, hard rock, heavy metal, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, and then of course it merges into Metallica and you know those type of bands. I like variety. You know, obviously I like rock. I like Johnny Cash. I like country. I listen to a lot of sort of drone zoney type stuff. Recently, I've been listening to Jean-Michel Jarre, Oxygen. You know, so. I don't necessarily play a lot of music though. I'm not a guy that has to have the radio on and be listening to music all the time.
Okay.
And I never really listen to music in the cars either.
You listen to the other music.
Yeah, the sound of the engine, that's the heart and soul.
Yeah. Do you work on your cars?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I'm not building engines. So for me, this is a hobby. It's not a business. So sometimes I'm building when I am. I have a team that helps me, probably freelance 3-4 people that specialize in certain things. I bring them all together. So these are passion projects. It's not a business, but I can take things apart and put things back, but I'm not building motors and stuff.
Okay. Going back to the rock stars, how was it for you, I mean, to meet guys like Alice Cooper? I mean,
This is a poster right there. I actually went on tour with Alice Cooper. I mean, this is the great thing about LA. You run into these people. So being in the clothing industry, we outfitted everyone from Alice Cooper to Madonna and everyone in between. So I got to meet a lot of my heroes, like me from Motorhead and Ozzy and just all types of bands. Obviously, LA is, you know, the rock and roll capital. When I came here in the 80s, it was sex, drugs, rock and roll, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, everything I was into. So
you met them all?
It was, I wouldn't say I met them all, but I met a lot of them. It was rock and roll heaven for sure. Still is.
Great.
LA is a place where whatever you want to do, you can do. You want to be a car designer, a movie star, a rock star, surfer, skateboarder, you know, there's an opportunity to do it here.
And it didn't change?
It hasn't changed, no.
Great. So I would say thank you very much for your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Me too.
Thanks for stopping by.
So next time in Luxembourg, right?
Yeah, let's plan something. Let's do a trip to Luxembourg. Radio Luxembourg.
You're very fast then, from one moment to the other in 2 hours.
That's what you're going to do. You got to keep rolling.
Yes.
Don't stop. Keep the pedal to the metal.
I will do that.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thanks.
Da frie mir se Losch schon drop van de Magnus Walker mat auss duch de Grand Duché fiiert. Bis se soweit ass, rekommandéiere méich sei Buch Urban Outlaw durchzelesen, an dem Di eng oder aner impressionant Story zu entdecken ass.
Driving Dreams. The podcast.